It's been a week of carnage, and we will talk about it on Comic Book Canon! All right, I'm being over dramatic. It's, I had to tie something into Venom 2 coming out, technically today, last night, what have you. Tying carnage. It's been a long week, I think, for a lot of people. But we're here on a Friday night talking about comic books, the hobby that we love, hanging out with all you people. And I'm hanging out with my co-host, partner in crime, Christopher. How are you, buddy?
Man, it's been crazy, but I'm here.
It's been crazy. You've had a crazy day, man. So it's kind of like carnage.
Yeah.
I guess we can't really relate to that.
I did this about like 6 or 7 times today and put about on the freeway. I put about 200 miles on my truck.
Hey, you know what?
It's been nuts.
You're here though.
Yep.
You're going to decompress and talk about comic books. We're going to have a great comic book canon show tonight. We have Alec AKA AR Comics, fellow Philadelphia Eagle fan, in the house today. You guys probably know him and love him. He's a great YouTube content creator, big part of the community as well. We have our Fresh from the Comic Shop winner, grand prize winner from September to announce. Who will win that CGC 9.2 Darth Vader number 3 slab, courtesy of Whatnot. And we will announce our slab for October. And I hate using emojis, Chris. And I hate using like LOL or anything, but it is absolute fire. Absolute fire, what we will be announcing tonight. We're just going to get right into it, Chris. Let's just get into the news. We'll get to Alec, and he needs to pass his interview. We all know how that goes. But we're just going to get right into it. I'm going to start this one off, Chris, because I feel bad. Chris, I feel very bad because we have been neglecting a love of ours.
Yep.
Star Wars, right? We've been neglecting Star Wars. We don't cover Star Wars that often here, right? Since Mandalorian wrapped season 2. I have to say that The Bad Batch was really good. I have to say the first episode I saw of Visions was excellent. But here's the thing. Again, we haven't been talking about it, but that's going to change right now. That is absolutely going to change because we got some news for Book of Boba Fett. That's right, we got a premiere date. Not only did we get a premiere date, Chris, we got a sweet Boba Fett poster. Look at that thing. Again, Boba Fett, Book of Boba Fett will premiere on December 29th. The official press release states, the Book of Boba Fett, a thrilling Star Wars adventure, finds legendary bounty hunter Boba Fett and mercenary Fennec Shan navigating the galaxy's underworld when they return to the sands of Tatooine to stake their claim on the territory once ruled by Jabba the Hutt and his crime syndicate. Now, comicbook.com caught up with Ming-Na Wen, and she had this to say about what we can expect from the show, spinning out of The Mandalorian Season 2. Probably there will be some similarities, Wen teased. Tonally, Mando is very much a loner except for his relationship with Grogu, a.k.a. Baby Yoda. So just the dynamic that's there, now a team up between Boba and Fennec, I think that already creates a different quality for the show. Yeah, that's about all I can say. And Robert Rodriguez, who directed that fantastic episode 14, where Boba Fett returns on Mandalorian. He's an EP on the Book of Boba Fett. I do believe he directed the pilot as well. He promises the show will over-deliver. Chris, I love hearing that. You and I would talk about The Mandalorian nonstop last year. Here we are, right around the corner. We got Book of Boba Fett. How do you feel?
Yeah. I think that I'm going to have the same feelings going into this as I did Mandalorian season 2 after going through season 1, and even more because it's funny how the MCU has had so many years now, 13 years to build their platform, and although Star Wars has been around for over 40 years, what they're doing right now is very similar to what the MCU has been doing since the beginning, So it's a bit different to look at like, well, oh yeah, the 40 years into this, they're adding to they're adding to the legacy of what's been done over the last 44 years. But we know that this is almost a new reign, a fresh start, especially with the individuals with creative control that are putting this out. Favreau and team. So we got season 1 of The Mandalorian, and it did what it did. We got season 2, and it did even more of what it did. And then and what it ended on, it's like, so now we are in this position where it's going like this. The pendulum's swinging upward, and I'm really, and I don't want to set myself up for failure, because I do this going into MCU films and shows. I'm like this, and I come out and I'm always like, oh yeah. So I'm just hoping that Star Wars can keep delivering that same momentum. I think they can do it. I don't think there's any reason that they shouldn't be delivering, or that it won't be that. I don't have any reason for this show to disappoint.
Here's the deal. This is a perfect example of an entity trusting its creators, right? We see it with the MCU and it's successful. We see it with the recent productions from Star Wars. We're talking, a lot of you are it's divisive, the most recent trilogy, fine. But look past that to The Mandalorian, to the Bad Batch, to the Clone Wars, series finale, those kinds of things. Excellent. So trust the creators. And again, don't take offense, all you DC fans, but the DCEU and Warner Brothers and AT&T, whatever, do not trust the creators. They need to allow them to trust the creators so we get content with those characters that we love that is just as good as with what's under Disney. All right. Anyways, moving on. Before we do, though, gosh, I'm terrible at this. We're both terrible at this. We got to say hello to some people. Hard Knocks Collectibles, what's up? Battle 66 Delta, they want to crack the slab. You saw Chris's show beforehand. Y'all know what that means. You got Vinny Whitlock, Comic Journey, Mike Butler, Jay Ward, Serge Henderson, Mark Leneker. Who else do we got? We got Dan De La Torre, Matt Stadge, Peter Thornton. All you good people are in the house. Super happy to have you. Now, we're going to move on to the next story, which, Chris, that's all you, buddy. All you.
Yeah, we recently talked about the Scarlett Johansson and Disney issue. I really went into it the last time we spoke on it a few weeks ago. Today, we do have an announcement that Disney and Scarlett Johansson have settled. I think this hopefully is a win. And with the comments that have been released, it seems to be so. Johansson did claim, and this has been known, that the film was to be given an exclusive theatrical release, and releasing it on Disney Plus directly affected Black Widow's box office performance, which she was entitled to a share of. All right, this is what she had to say. Quote, I am happy to have resolved our differences with Disney. I'm incredibly proud of the work we've done together over the years and have greatly enjoyed my creative relationship with the team. I look forward to continuing our collaboration in years to come. This is followed by Disney Studios chairman making his own statement stating, quote, I'm very pleased to have been able to come to a mutual agreement with Scarlett Johansson regarding Black Widow. We appreciate her contributions to the Marvel Cinematic Universe and look forward to working together on a number of upcoming projects, including Disney's Tower of Terror. All right. Deadline did report that Scarlett Johansson walked away with upwards of $40 million. Okay, so I got to add my take on this, guys. All this was you go into a McDonald's and you order 2 hamburgers, no cheese, and they give you cheeseburgers. Or you go into McDonald's and order, 5 Happy Meals and they only give you 4. Or you order a 20 chicken McNugget and they only give you 15. Look, I could throw out all the McDonald's examples. The bottom line is they had an agreement. They had a contract. Disney broke it. And Scarlett Johansson, you know how you go, you get out of the drive-thru, and you're like, oh, man, yeah, the food smells good. You did what you were supposed to do. You paid. You're like, yeah, I got my reward. And then you look in the back, it's like, it's not all here. All Scarlett Johansson did, she came out of the drive-thru, realized, wait a minute, you done changed something on me. This isn't what, nope. She pulled into the parking lot, walked back into the building and showed the receipt and said, look at my receipt. Nope. That's all she did, folks. Then you get the media involved. They painted her as this bad guy and all this. The bottom line, It doesn't matter if she's rich. It doesn't matter if, oh, well, 20 million to 40 million. You're a millionaire, greedy, whatever name call. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. She was owed what she was owed. I stand by Scarlett Johansson 100%. I don't think this necessarily should have got the media attention that it did. Sometimes you can't help that. But I will say Disney shot themselves in the foot when they made that comment about her bringing COVID into it, stating that she's not caring about the lives of when they went and released Shang-Chi in the middle of a Delta variant surge and all that stuff. So I just think Disney shot themselves in the foot, and I don't know if it's going to change everyone's perspective on how they feel about either parties. But I really do hope and feel that, live and learn. I hope Disney lived and learned. Scarlett got what she deserved. I wish it was done without all the controversy, but that's Hollywood sometimes.
Listen, you painted that picture perfectly with the McDonald's analogy. She ordered a 20-piece nugget. She got 15, right? Perfect. But the problem that I have, and I think that you have, is Disney's reaction to this whole thing.
Yeah.
Like throwing her under the bus. She helped build the MCU. I'm sorry. A lot of people are like, oh, she's an entitled actress. She's got plenty of money. Why is she? Yeah, they had a contract. That was a breach of contract, right? Granted, yeah, we were in a pandemic that nobody makes contracts for. You don't make contracts for pandemics, right? And they pivoted with this strategy. But with that, you should have given her representation heads up, be like, hey, this is what we're doing. Let's talk. Yep. Because we know this is going to affect what it says here. So, again, I'm happy that things seems to be ironed out, but the reports were that Feige was pissed. Yep. The reports were that the former Bob Iger, former Disney CEO, was pissed at the way that was handled because an immediate press release went out, throwing her under the bus. That's all we have to say about that. Because
I will say, I want to add, it's the way that they responded with that COVID line would be like if you ordered the 20 McNuggets and only got 15, and you go back in and you show them the receipt and you show them, that would be like them gaslighting you, saying, "What 15's a lot. Why don't you just take it? You don't care about the people that haven't got their food yet. You're going to make them have to wait longer. How dare you complain about not getting 20? 15's enough for you. Like, come on."
Analogies tonight. These are excellent. Let's keep the McDonald's thing going. How about it? I think we should. Anyways, we're glad this is settled. But you know where else we're glad about? Granted, Chris and I have shared our opinions on the first Venom film. I'm not too excited. I didn't like. I mean, it was entertaining to see Venom on the screen like that, as opposed to the Raimi kind of debacle. Not Raimi's fault. The trailer for Venom 2, all the trailers never excited me, but I'm happy to hear that early Venom numbers are promising. Not to say that the film is great, but just we like to see these films at least do well, right? So this genre continues on and doesn't peter out. Well, that being the case, it's looking good, pretty good this weekend, or actually last night. Mm-hmm. With these numbers, Venom took in a whopping 11.6 million Thursday night. Sony now expects it to hit 50 million this weekend after predicting a 40 million haul, but not so fast. That's right. Sony's saying 50 million, but Exhibitor Relations, who watches over the box office, suggests otherwise. I said nuggets. Jesus, where's my head? Marvel flexes its might. This time for Sony, Venom Let There Be Carnage took a massive 11.6 bite out of the box office last night. Sony is predicting high 50 million, which is the very low end of what it might gross this weekend. That's very interesting considering we are in this pandemic. Mm-hmm. It's not a super hot property compared to like MCU proper. Right. And a lot of you may have some opinions on that as to what happened in the film. But not opinions, they're facts probably. But Chris and I haven't seen this. No spoilers. No spoilers. But Chris, your thoughts.
Okay, so my son, there's a leak going on out there. And I'm not going to spoil anything, but
there is a leak.
I think that
exactly what 360 Comics says. Philly represent, by the way. Philly.
Yeah.
Go Birds.
Seriously, yeah. Nothing in the comments that'll spoil this, but I don't even know when I'll be going and seeing it. But I think, look, this is the one thing that I'll say. We already know. Didn't we report on it? Was it last week or the week before? Yeah, it was last week with Tom Hardy talking about, excuse me, basically solidifying the fact that it's only a matter of time before you see Venom and Spider-Man show. Like, we just have to wait for the business side of it to work. That's based. I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what he was saying. It's like, oh yeah, I'd want that to happen right now, but yeah, we got to wait for all these things to happen, and it's going to happen at the right time. The Sony executives had already come back talking about the relationship with Marvel and building what we're going to do in the future. It's all there. So if anything, and how you were just saying, like, big predictions for this film. If anything, what's driving this movie right now, in my humble opinion, is the fact that people are really thinking that it's connecting to the MCU, especially with No Way Home, Multiverse of Madness, and all this stuff. I really think there's a lot of people out there that are investing into this film because of hoping, whether it's just at this point an Easter egg or in something little that'll say, yep, Tom Holland's going to show up with Tom Hardy.
Yeah. All right, but here's the deal. You know, people are alluding to some things in the chat. Let's not do that. Okay, let's not spoil it for people. Let's keep it chill. Again, we'll see. We're just happy that the numbers that they're predicting could be bigger than, I mean, Sony thought 40 million. Now they're saying 50, and Exhibitor Relations is now saying, which monitors the box office, they're saying that they anticipate even more than 50 million. That's good news. That's just good news in general for the comic, the genre that we do love. I have a great question here. First, before I get to that there ends the news. It's been a dry season for news, guys. We get it, but we got DC Fandom coming in a few weeks.
Yep.
Following that, you got DC Investor Day in November 12th. So good stuff coming. Good stuff coming with the news. We promise that this will be a meteor segment. Before we get into our next segment, which I'm super psyched about, I do want to address one question here. Jeff, what are we drinking tonight? Nerds Being Geeks, I really appreciate you always asking me this. It's Yingling, but this is in honor of our very special guest co-host who has to pass the interview. We all know how that works. He may get cut. But anyways, we'll get into that in a second. Actually, let's just get into it now, shall we? Chris, are you ready?
Yeah.
I'm really excited about this guest. And let me tell you why. But before I do, I'm just trying to stretch here to find the image that I want to bring up. That's right. I'm very excited for our next guest. In the early days of the pandemic, I really jumped into YouTube comic book content, and Alec from AR Comics was one of the first I started watching. With his reviews, pickups, and spec, he really came into his own and is a leader in this community. Not only does his comic passion, match his knowledge, but he's also just a great human being, advocating for mental health awareness. So everybody, please welcome AR Comics. Alec, how are you, buddy?
Yo, what's going on, guys? Thank you so much for having me on tonight. It really is an honor. I appreciate it.
We are psyched that you're here. Again, me personally, I was watching you earlier on. You're one of the earlier people channels that I was watching, getting into actually all of this comic book content on YouTube. Kind of been, you're one of the people that inspired us to do some things here. So again, very happy that you're here. We can't get too like buddy just yet because you have to pass the interview. And I don't know if you're familiar with this, but a lot of people will tell you in the chat, people get kicked off just for blatant, just really answers that are just wrong, even if it's an opinion. Just keep that in mind, okay? So flat out, I've kicked Chris off before, by the way. So
I would kick Jeff off, but I don't have to. He controls the power.
He's got the
honestly,
power.
Chris. That's the only reason Chris hasn't thrown me off, but it could happen someday soon.
And we got A-Town represent 360. Respect it.
Yes. Wait. What did he say? What did he say?
Downtown represent.
There we go. All right. Loving that. All right, here we go. So Chris, start off with this. It's kind of a softball, Alec. It's a softball.
All
yeah.
right.
Well, I just want to, AR say, congrats on everything that you've been doing, with your channel. You really provide a solid content that I think is something that, in my humble opinion, never gets tiring. Everyone talks about, including us, including me on my channel. We do our top 10s and, we do our, CGC unboxings. You dive into the stories. And I think there's a few people out there that really do this very well, and you're one of them. You talk about what's new on the market week to week. You represent all kinds of comic books, from the big two to indies to the smaller indies. You talk about comics and read comics that some, of the other YouTubers I never hear talking about. So I really want to bring that to light and really commend you on allowing that to be a big core of what you do and what you give to this community. You really dive into those stories. But with that being said, I gotta ask, because as somebody that, I'm always surrounded by comic books. I always have my box of to read comics, that quite honestly has had some of the same books in there probably for 4 years now.
Right? That happens, I'll tell you.
Right. But I mean, you do your weekly reviews and you're reading these comic books, and I just got to ask, where do you find the time? How do you make the time? And what tips can you give me? I mean, I don't know, maybe other people can. I'm going to be honest. I'm not asking for you guys. I'm asking for me. I need help here. How do you make this work to really get in all the comic reading that you want to get in?
Man, Wednesdays are straight booked. I actually leave my phone on do not disturb, at all times of the day, every day, no matter what day it is. But Wednesday, man, that is a long day. I'll tell you, I wake up, I get my gym workout in. I go to my comic shop. They open at 12 o'clock here in Oklahoma. And pretty much that's a wrap. That is the rest of the day. I come back, I sit down, I read those books immediately. Every Wednesday, it's a new thing. I'm on the Experiences channel. It's pretty much the Dynamite guys. We got Nick Barucci, Rex Wang, and then there's another man named John. He doesn't work for Dynamite, but he hangs out all the time. They sell a bunch of books, and they have me as a guest speaker on there on Wednesdays now to kind of help. We get off track a lot, but, not to get into that. After that, that's about a 2-hour thing. I go back to editing the videos. And usually on Wednesdays, I'm up very late. I'm usually up till sometimes 2 o'clock in the morning. And then that morning I upload it. But man, it's a long day of reading, editing. I'll tell you what, I hate editing. I really do. It is a challenge. I have no idea what I'm doing half the time. I'm using the same app. That I started with on my iPhone. That's what I used to do everything on. And then everyone said, oh, try this on a laptop, try Adobe or, Final Cut, whatever.
Yep.
Hell no. I got an iPad. I downloaded the same app for that iPad, and now it's just on a bigger scrring. I have no idea what I'm doing for that stuff, man.
You do a good job. You do a good job of editing. Whatever works is what works for you.
That's what I tell everybody. So if it works for me, I'm not trying a new thing.
Right. Stick to it.
So yeah, I mean, so look, I think what I'm taking from this is you really just gotta, if you want to make it happen, folks, you just got to do it, and if it comes to turning off the phones or all that, because I know one thing for me that it's tough for me to not get distracted, so there's a tip, guys. I'm taking it in. I might just really have to, have one day at least I think for me, even it's probably hard for me to get even an hour in where I could just sit for an hour. So maybe if I'm just doing an hour a night kind of, but just with that same idea, really, powering everything off and just being in the zone and dedicating yourself, guys. I think we do that with a lot of things in life. Going to the gym, that's another thing. You got to make the time for it. When you don't want to sit and help your kids with your homework, but you got to take 30 minutes, 60 minutes to sit there and make it happen. So I appreciate you sharing that. And I think, guys, if any of us that are struggling with finding ways to read, I just hope that I take this in and it sticks, because if we have you back on, maybe next year, and I still have the same books in my to read box, then I've completely failed you.
My problem with me is I start buying all these hardcovers, and now they're piling up. The single issues, that's easy, but a hardcover, dude, forget it. Right. I've got so many hardcovers I got halfway through, and I start a new one.
It's tough, man. It definitely is tough. And I'm lucky if I read a book a night before I go to bed, but it's usually I'm just passed out from work and my daughter and just Anyways, by the way, you're getting a ton of love in here, so that makes me think that a lot of people are following you. But if you're not, his link is down below. Y'all better subscribe. He delivers each and every week, multiple times a week. Also, follow his Instagram, AR_comics. All right, we're gonna get into some more stuff. Like what we like to do here. We all know you love comic books. Every guest that we bring on loves comic books. We like to know you as a person too. So, knowing that you and I kind of grew up in the same area, I got to ask you this hypothetical question. Got to see what your answer is going to be here. Now we know you're an Eagles fan.
Mm-hmm.
Go Birds. I have a hypothetical here for you. Well, first answer this. What is one of your most valued comics? Like just sentimental, what have you. It doesn't have to be monetarily.
I'd have to say, so I think the first big comic I ever bought, it was, man, I'm trying to think of it off the top of my head. I think it was ASM 31 or 39. 39. And that was one of the biggest books I bought at the time, and I was really happy about it. And then it felt like a couple days later, I ended up finding a really good deal on 41. And I was like, man, might as well start picking these up. And then from there, I think that's what really started the single issue train of I'm going to buy this key. I'm going to look into this. But there's some books like I kind of went into selling more, and a lot of these single issues don't really have a lot of value to me. But those two, I'll tell you what, that 41 is probably a hard 0.5, maybe a 1. It is beat to all hell, and I will never get rid of it.
Okay, so it means a lot to you, right?
It does.
So let me throw this to you. If someone's holding that book hostage and all you had to do was wear a Dallas Cowboys jersey for a week, would you do it?
No.
Woo!
That book is
Good
gone.
answer.
That
Good
book is
answer right
gone.
there. Oh, my God. I'm so psyched to get you. I'm so happy with that. All right. So here we go. These are a little bit divisive right here.
For this round.
This is a little divisive right here.
All right.
I'm going to ask you something. It's definitely, it comes down to taste, literally. Hertz potato chips or Wise?
I'm gonna go with. I don't eat a lot of chips, but I think Hertz is the crunchy one, right? Like the not like ridged potato chip. Wise is rich or ribbed, right?
Yes. Correct.
All right, I'll take Hertz. I like that crunch.
Wow! Honestly, man, this is amazing. Okay. Well, here we go.
I don't even know what you guys are talking about.
That's the East Coast.
Okay, here we
chip,
go. Hertz potato chips is the best potato chips company in the world.
Absolutely.
They have the best flavors out there. I am in love with their salt and vinegar. I have reason to believe that they invented that flavor and everybody else took it on. Their Old Bay seasoning chips, outstanding. Wise is just a horrible knockoff, and I just get pissed off when people say that Wise is better. No, you said it right there. They're the ridges, too thick. Anyways, moving on. Big one right here. Wawa or Sheets?
Wawa. That's not even a question. That's Wawa all day. There's no way around that.
Holy cow. Okay, so Wawa is basically like a really fancy 7-Eleven. It's probably not that fancy,
All right,
but it's, how would you explain it?
All right, so, it's literally a fancy gas station with just gourmet food in there. It's fire, absolute fire if you're on the East Coast. So when I went home to visit, so I've been home in like 2 years. I went home with my girlfriend, and she had Wawa, I think, once when she visited with me last time. Deadass, we had Wawa, I think. We got the coffee every day, and then we got hoagies, I think, every day. And then like the 3 weeks I was home, I think we got cheesesteak and pizza, I think, almost every night.
Hell yeah, because you haven't been there in so long.
Yeah, I told her, you got to have the cheesesteaks.
Listen, you are on a streak here, okay? Chris, it's fair to say this has never been done by a guest. We're not setting you up at all. I'm being for real. People could tell you in the chat. I usually just knock people out. By the way, 360, we love you. Oh, and you worked at Wawa? Hell yeah. All right, but here we go. So we all know you are a diehard Sixers fan. So who's your favorite Sixers player?
All right. Definitely not a diehard Sixers.
All right, I knew there was going to be something, Chris. I knew there was going to be something.
My variant is hanging out and just talked about a possible bromance building. I've never seen that before, so I was getting a little jealous. But I'm so glad he got that one wrong because I thought I might lose my spot on my own show there for a minute.
Yeah, he was on a hot streak, but it's unfortunate. We had to cut him. We're going to move on with this. No, Chris, he's made it. He's definitely a guest.
I don't know, man. He was real. Like I said, there is
I'm being for real here, as my daughter says. Are you being for real? I'm being for real. That like I literally thought we were gonna have some problems, but Alec, congratulations! You are a guest co-host on Comic Book Canon.
I can explain though.
No, there's no need to. All right, go explain.
All right. So obviously, if I had to pick Sixer, it's obviously AI, no doubt. That's what it is. I grew up a Nets fan though.
Ugh.
I loved Jason Kidd growing up. I was a point guard playing ball. That was the dude I watched. Obviously, I watched AI too, but the Nets, that was it.
Honestly, man, that's fair. I'm very. I thought we were gonna have problems with Wawa. I'll be honest, because I didn't know where in Pennsylvania you grew up. I thought that was gonna be a problem, and I guarantee you, 360 Comics would have been like out. By the way, Dikembe Mutombo, I saw him at a Wawa once in Ocean City, New Jersey. That's the most Philly thing that ever could have happened. Oh, Dikembe, dude. Dikembe. All right. So here we go. You are a guest co-host in Comic Book Canon. That comes with a lot of responsibilities. We are going to ask something of you, and it's giving of yourself for our next segment. But before we explain, Chris, what is the next segment?
Fresh from the comic shop.
Fly from the pressing salon. That is right. This is the segment where y'all submit every week your fresh gets. They could be 2 days old. They could be 20 years old. They could be your mail calls. They could be AOKs. They could be from your local comic shop, what have you. If they're new in your collection, we want to see it. We want to hear about it. And you can also win some slabs, courtesy of Whatnot. And before we get into everything else, we're going to let you know what Whatnot is. Every week I say that, Chris, and it's like a tongue twister.
Yep.
What Whatnot is. But I'll tell you right now. Whatnot combines a safe buying platform of eBay with the video component of Twitch. Their mission is to bring together collectors and enthusiasts to safely buy, sell, and connect. Now, to enter into Fresh from the Comic Shop and be to submit for possibly winning a slab book, you must be signed up to Whatnot. The link is below, and with that sign up, you get $3 off your first purchase. You must follow Comic Book Canon on Whatnot. We are at Comic Book Canon. That's simple. Now, you post a pic of your fresh get on Instagram. This is important. You have to use the hashtag FFTCS. That's right, FFTCS. And it always helps to tag us as well. We will find those each and every week, and you will be submitted for Fresh from the Comic Shop. Now, Alec, when I was saying you had responsibilities, you have to help us pick a semifinalist for October. We're just getting into October. This will be the first semifinalist we announce. But before we do that, we have a winner from September.
We have a winner.
Chris, what are they going to win?
For this beautiful Dr. Aphra, number 3.
Darth Vader. Come on.
Vader.
It's been a long day.
I'm being dyslexic. I'm being dyslexic as I usually am. Darth Vader, number 3, first appearance of Dr. Aphra in a nice looking 9.2.
Guys, that's going to be a hot book. I guarantee you there'll be some news around that come Investor Day, November 12th with Disney. All right, so, Chris, this was definitely a close one. It was definitely a close one, but our winner is... Let me just scroll up and find it. Where is the winner? It is Man-Thing from C to the G.
All right. C to the G. Man,
C
congrats.
G.
So, Jeff, was it C to the G, the one that outdid itself?
Yes, with the Star Wars book, yes.
Unbelievable.
I don't have that loaded up. Otherwise, that picture was amazing. But he won.
Amazing.
That probably would have won. Props to Super Rad with the Avengers Annual number 10. This is his second finals loss.
Right.
That's when they were in the finals 2 years in a row.
Yep.
Lost. All right. Congratulations.
Super Rad. If Super Rad's in the chat, don't give up. Keep submitting.
Keep submitting.
You've been doing awesome submissions, man, week to week. So, you've been right there. So keep pushing, man.
That's right. Keep seriously. That was C to the G with the star. Anyways, Super Rad, you got some good stuff though. Keep submitting, please. All right, here's the announcement, guys. This is a big one. Well, you're gonna be psyched, but I would temper that down for a second because the next slab is a CBCS.
Yes.
9.8. Something is killing the children. It's the foil, though, guys. It's the foil. Elsie, the local comic book shop day. There's no. They both look the same when you pull images off the internet. Chris will have it in his hand, so we'll promote it that way next week. Yep. But that's a big one. Even the foil.
Solid book.
That's a hot book. Absolutely 100%. So let's just get into it. Alec, pay attention because you got those responsibilities. Here we go, guys. We are just going to get right into it with House of L Comic. My first commission, I think it turned out great. The artist, Clara Bouchdor, did an awesome job. This is really cool, guys. I really like how it's everybody who played Superman there.
Oh, wow.
Brandon Ruth is in there twice.
That whole thing is just a commission?
Yeah, that's a commission.
That's incredible.
Really incredible. That's it. I love how this kicks off our Fresh from the Comic Shop this week. Good stuff. House of L Comic. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Into Oblivion. Radiant Black, number 8. Guys, I have the first issue of this series. I have yet to read it. I heard it's a slow burn, but people are really into it. Alec, what do you think? I know you've definitely read it.
Yeah, actually, I really like it. It kind of reminds me of Power Rangers if you're a Power Rangers fan. When you say it's a slow burn, I kind of agree with that. I think it starts off really hot and goes really strong, and then I'd say issue 3 or 4, something major happens. But then from there, it's not slow. But I think they're doing a really good job building the story. Like it's kind of slow, but where we are right now, the storytelling's been very good.
All right, that's good to hear. I still have yet to crack open that first. Talking about not being able to read these books. God, that was like 8 months ago. Anyways, moving on. We got Son of Comics with his Red Hulk approved. As always, Red Hulk approved. Miles Morales, the end number 1. I'm loving all things Miles Morales. You and everybody else. This cover is outstanding. I have to say, I did read this issue. I was not impressed. I was actually a bit underwhelmed. But I love that cover. That's a 9.8 if you guys haven't noticed that. We got Stout Man. Got this win from former special guest co-host on the Canon, Comic Man Andy, and his first giveaway of 1,000 subscribers. That's a nice get right there. He's got the Saga. He's got the House of Slaughter. That's a free comic book day. And there's a 9.8. I don't know what that is, guys. I don't know what it is, but it's pretty awesome that you won that giveaway. We love us some Comic Man Andy. And Comic Man Andy loves foil. Remember that. I can't do it. Like Goldfinger. I can't do it. We got Marvel Man 616. Moon Knight 3, the 10-year anniversary Miles Morales cover. This is another excellent Miles cover. I love it. Yes. I love the hood over that. It's looking way better than his new costume, by the way. All right, Alec, it's your time to shine, man. What did you get? What is your first fresh get of the week? Just your first one. We'll get through all 3, but what is your first fresh get of the week?
So books the 3 that I picked up. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, just show us your first fresh get. Yep. What do you got?
All right. So I know you said it could be any type of books, but I had to get a nice little range of kind of newer ones too. This is the first one I want to show off. We got Maze Book. This is a new series from Jeff Lemire. Absolutely fantastic. Jeff Lemire is one of my favorite writers right now. Everything that he writes is honestly, it's pretty much perfect in my opinion. I'm a little biased, 100%, but I love it. It kind of reminds me of Gideon Falls, if you guys have read that series. That was more of a horror series. This is a little toned down as far as a first issue goes, but it still has that mystery vibe to it where it kind of has like, all right, I need the next issue right away.
He's doing the art too. Does he do the interior art? Because that's definitely a cover by Lemire, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty positive. Yeah, he does the art as well. So this is, I'll show off a little bit of interior too. So that's just a little bit. The book, you can honestly get through the book in less than 5 minutes. As you can tell, like it reminds me, the artwork is just like Sweet Tooth.
Oh, yeah.
Just without getting too much into it, it's really relatable to most people, in my opinion. So it's about this guy. That's his daughter on the front. You don't know what happened to her, but she's either missing or she passed away. And this dude's just going about his day to day. He's talking about how, people are becoming blurs to him. Everything is a blur because he's just in this routine and he can't get out of this routine. But this little red string, you can't really see it too well, but it's like a red string from her sweater. It kind of is showing up here and there. And towards the end, you get a big cliffhanger and it's like, all right, I'm hooked now. I'm ready for the next one. But it hit me hard because it definitely felt relatable just being stuck in a routine every single day.
That's good to hear. I mean, a lot of people, a lot of bloggers and stuff are picking that book. That was their book of the week. Is it new this week? I can't remember.
No, it came out maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Okay,
I actually did a giveaway for that one. I had to buy another one because I loved it, but I gave away the first issue.
Welcome, Comics Den. What's up? How are you doing? We had somebody here saying hello. I don't know. Anyways, we're going to move on, though. We're going to move on because we have some great audience submissions, as always. We got Heroes Reborn. Guys, I'm liking this. I'm liking this one. Heroes Reborn Comics, Department of Truth number 11, Notorious B.I.G., the final chapter homage, variant limited to only 400. Pick this up at King Kong Comic Book Show in New Jersey this weekend. Pictured along with my original B.I.G. Duets, the final chapter CD. I really hope there is nobody in here that doesn't know what a CD is. I really hope that, like, literally. Anyways, but this is what we're talking about, Alec. This is a great presentation. That's well shot, well composed, and it's a unique book. I like this book, guys. I definitely like this book. Well done. Heroes Reborn. Let me know when you hit up Newberry Comics in White Plains. Let me know how you make out. I haven't been there for a while. E. Marvell! Big massive thanks to the guys at Stunt Dog Comics for this awesome Moon Knight issue 1. Pretty good condition. Love the way it was shipped. Book is from 1980, so I will press and clean before sending for grading. With CGC Comics, all in all, 5 out of 5 stars for service, great seller, and awesome. Listen, E. Marvell, he's been a finalist a couple times here. I really enjoy the way he composes his shots, and who doesn't love this book? Who doesn't? You got to be, honestly.
It's an awesome cover.
Absolutely, and you better, honestly, that train is leaving the station. That will not be affordable anytime, soon. We got former winner, Chris, Sicilian Comics, right? He won.
Yeah.
He's not eligible to win, because once you win, you win. We got, love the colors on this one. This is Devil Ghost Iron Man. Yeah, this is he submits these Italian books. It's phenomenal. In this style, I don't know. But obviously you got Daredevil, you got Ghost Rider, and they kept it as Iron Man in Italian, which is fantastic. Next up, we got Decor Collectibles. This week's Comic Haul. Still stuck to having to stay at home, but that doesn't mean the opportunity to get some excellent books delivered isn't possible. He's got some nice books there. He's got the Ice Cream Man mask kind of like remix there. I see, Venom number 7 was that first appearance of Dylan Brock, bottom left. That's the variant, as well as some other excellent books. Good stuff, Decor. Good stuff. Chris, what is your first fresh get of the week? What do you got?
All right, which one first?
I mean, is it going to be another Brave in the Bold?
No. Actually, had one that I haven't shown off, but I'm going to go with some
Time out before you show.
Yes.
We didn't say Watlock yet. Is it a Watlock? Good point. Alec, that's an inside joke. We'll let you in on that in a sec.
I've been I haven't had Watlock on my mind for a couple weeks.
There you go.
Can you believe that?
That is crazy, actually.
But now that I'm reminded, you open the floodgates. So watch out next week. No.
Ooh.
Okay. I've been giving DC some love, so I gotta come back with some Marvel. Again, as a run collector myself, going after silver, bronze age run fillers is always a fun thing for me, especially as even those run fillers continue to, increase in value over time, inflation, the older they get, whatever the case may be. This is a nice looking copy, really beautiful white cover, Avengers 106.
Ooh,
nice 20 center. And what I really like the 20-cent Marvel books when they had the kind of like the 2/3 picture frame here.
Mm-hmm.
There's a love and hate relationship, I think, with people. A lot of people, I think did Dan say he's not really big on this?
I never remember Dan saying anything about that. But I love that. And I love how, I don't want to take over your part here, but I love, how like the top left, the corner box, a vision is just like kind of there without
loading. Yep. With just a round circle right behind his head. No, yeah. I love frames. I love covers with frames, borders, and things like that. And when things are like popping out. So that's why I really love this era for sure.
That's a nice pickup, man. Again, surprised it's not a Brave in the Bold or a Watlock. But I'll tell you what, Karkham, he's happy that we said Watlock. Watlock, he loves some Warlock, specifically Warlock in the Infinity Watch. Alec, he has about a few hundred of them.
I don't know about that much yet.
Anyways,
one
day somehow Matt Stadge mistyped and it was Watlock, and everybody. It's like a kindergarten class when somebody makes a poop joke. Everybody's like, so Watlock has never went away. I don't think it'll ever go away. All right, guys, moving back, though, to our audience, because it's all about you guys. It's all about you guys, fellow Philly area native 360 comics. This is what I'm talking about, guys. This is what I'm talking about right here. Now, you guys all see that's a grail, right, for a lot of you guys. Listen to what he says here. I've been holding off, and granted, he's breaking the rules because this is fresh from the comic shop. He says he's been holding off for a few weeks, but I had to go with this. I had to post it for him. I've been holding off on posting this for a few weeks, but it's finally time to show off the ugliest grail in existence. There's no back cover. There's duct tape on the inside of the front cover. The duct tape, by the way. The first panel, Storm appears and is clipped out, and what's left looks like it spent its entire life doing manual labor. But it's mine, and I love it. I kid you not when I say I looked at this book every night before I went to bed for the first week I had it in my possession. When the opportunity arises to own a book that you've wanted since before you could read for a great price, you just don't turn it down. Nightcrawler has long been my favorite member of the X-Men, who are my favorite superhero team and favorite comic title ever, and I finally have his first appearance along with that of Storm, Colossus, and Thunderbird. Rest in peace. Plus, an early appearance of Wolvie himself. Low grade is better than no grade, my friends.
Yep, absolutely.
That is like that. Look at Chris. Yeah, absolutely. That is what we're talking about. Sentimental, something that means to you. We want to hear a good story about what it means to you. Well done, 360 Comics. Don't think you're eligible to win because that's a few weeks old. You shouldn't have said that. But here we are. Next up, we got Nukes Comics. I'm liking this cover, guys. I'm liking this cover. I picked up this copy of Alien issue #1 from Titan Comics. It's a Scotty Young variant cover. Even in this style, the Xenomorph still looks deadly. I wouldn't say that. But it's adorable. It is absolutely adorable.
Adorably deadly.
Scotty Young's artwork definitely grew on me over the years.
You know what's interesting? Like, I was like, nah, I'm not into it. But then my daughter started seeing his work, and she's 5, and she's like, she loves it. So that I love it as well. I absolutely 100%. I think his work is it's
so unique.
It really is. And I bought like a cutout book for my daughter for her to learn all the characters. We have like 20 of these cutout these standees. They're like that big, from like Thanos to Deadpool, all the way to, like, it's amazing. So she knows all the characters from that. All right, moving on. We got Vinny Whitlock. Chris, you know we get a good Silver Age book from Vinny Whitlock.
Fantastic Four. Yep.
Nice.
Fantastic Four #15. He says it's about a 1.8, 2.0. Tear on the cover and tape on the inside, but still glad to own this book. First appearance of the Mad Thinker, an awesome android. Can't go wrong with 2 first appearances. Vinny, man, you crush it each and every week. Next up, we got Arana Escalarta. He loves his Spidey books. Web Warriors #2, the variant cover. For myself, this cover encompasses everything that got me into comics and Spider-Man in general. It's also a great Mark Bagley cover. Mark Bagley is the shit, like, honestly. Absolutely. Look at his Spider-Man right in the middle there. It's just classic Bagley right there. I love it. Great book, 9.8. Good stuff. All right, guys, my turn for my first fresh get of the week. I just moved. By the way, I just want to say I think my studio is going to be ready next week, so you're not going to look like it's in a dungeon. But I don't know if y'all noticed I put new stairs in. Anyways, moving on. It's been tough trying to get to a comic book shop each and every week. I get deliveries, but I've just been so behind. So please, don't hold it against me, guys. I've been busy. But first up, we got this guy is an alumnus of Comic Book Canon. Robert Venditti. Superman 78. I've been so excited to see this. Finally got delivered to my door. I'm excited to read it as well because this is my Superman right here, guys. This is my Superman, Christopher Reeve, and they're continuing it along. And I'm very excited. Look at that Gene Hackman. And I mean, come on. It's just I'm psyched to read this. I don't know if anybody out there, you guys in the chat have read it. Let me know what you think. But Robert is such a great guy. Really, we have to get him on. He had some audio issues when he was on before. But we have to get him on again. No doubt about that. Excited about all his books. He's an excellent writer if you guys don't know that already. All right, moving on. We got good friend of the show, Quentin, a.k.a. Comic Ozzy. Now, Alec, this is how you take a picture. This is how you compose a picture. Right here.
Wow, that
Valkyrie Rising for a huge Throwback Tuesday. Hope to add this to my happy to add this to my collection. It is truly impressive in person. Again, inspiration from Dan De La Torre and good friend Sith Lordly. Excellent. Look at, he's got the stones in the background, kind of harkens back to medieval ages. I guess you could say that's where. No, I guess no. I'm trying to tie some things together that really don't make any sense whatsoever.
You're onto something.
Thank you.
Something's there.
I couldn't finish it though. I couldn't finish it, Chris. Moving on, we got Comic Toby. Where are you, Comic Toby? There we go. Here's my new copy of Vengeance of Bane, #1. First appearance of Bane, the man that breaks the bat. Classic storyline. First print and a bunch of toys also from DC.
Nice.
Excellent stuff there, Comic Toby. Here's another one, guys. This is another one. Ian, another former alumnus. He's an alumnus of the guest co-host of the Canon here. Hood Rat Comics. I want to do a proper fresh from the comic shop from my homeboys over on Comic Book Canon. Got this at a shop, not a comic shop, the other day. It's a Marvel Age I've been missing for a bit, and I wanted to do the right thing by hunting it down in a bin. I missed it a few times as friends found it before me, but now I have it for less than $1. And why is this book important to me, he asks. It furthers my completion of Thundercat Keys, as this is the preview of the Thundercats before their first release, before their #1 release. Love me some Thundercats. Oh! Book needs a nice press and a clean. Can't wait to help it be its best self. And no, not slabbing. It's okay to press and clean a book just for the PC with no intentions of sending it to the Gestapo. I'm assuming he's comparing CGC to the Gestapo. Anyways, Chris,
so bring that back up real quick.
Sure thing.
Is that a rat and a woman?
Okay, you know what that is? I'm going to tell you what that is.
What is that?
That is Hood Rat on the right. That's, I guess, somebody made that for him. And on the left, that's the dude.
Oh, it's the dude. Okay, yeah.
White Russian. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even put that together.
Yep. And then on the rat, it says Hood.
Hood Rat. It says Hood Rat down there.
On the jacket.
Yep.
So it's, and they're just sitting there with, they got some beer or something, and they're just like, yeah.
Chilling.
That's comic. Like that. Yeah, dude. Man.
Right? The dude abides indeed. All right. Alec, your second fresh get of the week. What do you got?
Second one. This one actually came out this week. I got it in a bag and board, so I could take it out if I could. But we've got a new series from Source Point Press. This is written by Frank Gogol. Awesome dude. Super nice. This is his brand new series. He's done a lot of different stuff for Source Point Press. He's had Dead End Kids, and then Dead End Kids Suburban Job, No Heroin. I think he had another one as well. So this is his new one. The best way for me to describe this is it kind of reminded me of Power Rangers, especially because we were just talking about it before. Mm-hmm. But the cool thing is it kind of reminds me of Alien mixed with The Thing, the movies as well.
Wow.
And it was really cool. It wasn't like a horror thing, but they had aliens in it that kind of reminded me from the movie Alien, not the like from the Scotty Young cover, like not full grown, but the face huggers.
Right.
And then just, I don't know, I don't want to spoil it, but like I said, it kind of reminded me of The Thing as well. If you've ever seen that movie or you can kind of remember it. So just kind of mix all that together in one comic. I thought it was pretty badass.
Nice. That, again, that's an early 80s reference right there. Classic horror film. I am not into the horror. I'm terrified of it, to be honest with you guys, and I've never seen The Thing. But this is why you guys need to subscribe to AR Comics. Down below the link, and if you're not following him on the Instagram, yeah, I said I'm like 75 years old, the Instagram, at AR_comics right there. Do it, or else you'll face the wrath of Chris and I. And as I tell my daughter, I never follow through, but I say, you'll get one of these where you sneeze.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, I'm terrified. All right. She does not listen to me at all.
You're talking about horror, man. You're bringing the horror.
Yeah.
Someone down there, Heroes Reborn, said it kind of is similar to Radiant Black, but darker. I can definitely see that too. Like the main characters. I mean, you just had the Radiant Black cover up before, so I mean, you just kind of put 2 and 2 together with how they look.
Yeah.
But then the Power Ranger aspect, those weapons that they're holding kind of, I don't know, morphed into what they are. So that's where I got Power Rangers from. But I could definitely see Radiant Black, but darker.
Interesting. Okay, I still have to read Radiant Black, guys. You just
One day.
I'll hopefully get to it at some point. All right, moving on though. Moving on. Who do we have? We had Hood Rat just now. This is our good friend right here. That's right. We got Dan De La Torre. This is my first look at the 3rd generation CGC SLAB. I like it.
Oh,
Here
they're
it is,
nice.
playing my Thor 180. Guys, it doesn't look any different to me.
It feels good in your
Yeah.
hands.
When you have it in your hands, you can absolutely tell the difference.
I haven't done a CBCS submission in years. I'm about to do a CGC, I think. So we'll see. But that's interesting. All right. That's good stuff, Dan, as always. All right, here we go. We got our buddy Nerds Being Geeks. He's on the YouTube as well. That's right. I said it again like a 75-year-old. He's on the YouTube. Go down there, find his link, and subscribe to him. Nerds Being Geeks. Batman Annual Night. This is great. This is great what he did here, guys. I don't know if you notice it, but It's great. Nerds Being Geeks, Batman Annual 19, written by Doug Monk, with art by Brett Belvins, a modern origin retelling of the Prince of Panic, the Tyrant of Terror, the Master of Fear, the Scarecrow. I recently picked this up at Freedom Comics in Toledo, Ohio. Excellent. Yo, Nerds Being Geeks. I think he was a semifinalist at one point. That's another great submission right there, and we really appreciate you.
I just picked that book up for my my oldest son a few weeks back too, or
That's
actually it's been a couple months ago now because we weren't in the hotel yet. That's how time is for me. But
oh my gosh!
Yeah, he was loving those the year 1 annuals that I think for a couple years there. That they did the origins again with.
Mr. Freeze was excellent. I really, really enjoyed it. That's from the New 52, I think. Anyways, moving on. We got Carcom US, Fantastic Four Volume 6, number 1, sketch variant commissioned by Brian Silverbacks.
Oh,
you knocked it out the park. This thing looks awesome. And obviously that's an original piece of work. That's an excellent, excellent cover right there. Good stuff right there, Carcom US. Chris, it's time for you. Your second fresh get of the week.
All right. I pick up the there's a lot of variants out there for these books. I love the art on all of them. They're really retro, and but I feel like you can't have a comic book, a Betty Page comic book, without having her on the cover.
Jeez.
So this is number 4 of the current series, the Curse of the Banshee, and I always pick up the Betty Page photo variants because come on, man, it's Betty Page. You know, they got the cosplay, which is, you know, a cosplayer looking like Betty Page.
Mm-hmm.
It's Betty Page. So that's what I do. I get the actual photo variants to pay homage to the book, to the person the book's about. And I'm going to be honest, I don't read the stories of these. I just like the yeah. I actually read the first
opposite of people who get Playboy. I just read it for the article. You're like, no, I get it for the covers. I get it for the covers.
I read the first issue of like the first series. It was interesting. It was cool. But I'm like, okay. It really had nothing to do with Betty Page. It was like I don't even remember, but just a vintage pinup. Betty Page is an icon, man, and I just think it's something really cool to have in comic book form.
Excellent pickup, man. That is out of the box for all of us. I really dig. That's excellent work right there. All right, moving on. We got Goonish Lurker. I really do like his name, Goonish Lurker. Epic Illustrated, number 34, 1986. This is the last issue. A Marvel offshoot of Heavy Metal magazine, Epic was not restricted by the Comics Code Authority, as well as offered writers and artists ownership rights. Featuring The Last Galactus by John Byrne. Great find. I talk about how I love John Byrne's work. So I really like this book. That's good stuff, Goonish Lurker. Great stuff indeed. Excuse me, I just burped. I apologize. It was the Yingling burp. No big deal. Next up, here's another example, guys. Really unique right here. And it's Mark Leneker. Surprise, surprise. After being pillared. Oh, Alexa does not. I'm not talking to you, Alexa. After being pillared By the Senate Subcommittee on Juvenile Delinquency, EC Comics voluntarily ended their comic lines. But for a brief period in 1955 to 1956, they tried to continue it with Terror Illustrated, Crime Illustrated, and Shock Illustrated, and Confessions Illustrated in comic magazine form. They introduced the picto-fictional format. It was basically a melding of short story and multiple comic book illustrations on each page. Think of it as an adult storybook. None of them lasted beyond 2 issues because distribution was difficult and sales were low. EC was a marked company by then. However, the artwork was fantastic, particularly the painted cover by Bud Park. Again, this is very unique. Mark Lineker has a knack of sending in unique books, and we really appreciate no bullshit. This is a history lesson, all right? The Comics Code really fucked a lot of shit up, and this was them trying to break free of that, and it just didn't work because that's the kind of stranglehold that the Comics Code had back in the day. So good stuff, Mark Lineker. Next up, we got Alec. I hope you're abiding by some responsibilities here and you're paying attention.
Oh, I am.
Because there will be a time when we have to ask you. Just making sure. All right, Raw Dog Comics. One of my fresh gets from the comic shop, Fantasy Shop Maplewood. Deathstroke and the Huntress are kicking some serious ass. Adam Hughes' cover is approved by Mittens the Cat. Wowzers. That's the first time I think we have a pet submission, Chris.
I love it. Winner!
Big deal, man. First time we have a pet submission. That's good stuff right there. Loving it. And here we go, guys. Here's the champion of September. Mr. September.
Ooh.
Now, Mr. October was Reggie Jackson. Who's Mr. September?
C to the G.
All right, C to the G. There you go.
Come on now. Ain't no other.
No easy way to show these off other than the simplest way. 20 books checked off my Grail run of Uncanny X-Men 94 to 300. It seems far out of reach to finish, but one can only hope. So these are 20 books all in one. Gosh, right now it's really too small for me to decipher which one. I think we see first Mr. Sinister at the top left, first cover appearance.
First
Jubilee.
Nimrod.
Yep.
Marauders.
Oh yeah, Marauders. That's the one I was thinking of. Maybe Nimrod's in there too.
And that's really hard for us to decipher that. But we appreciate you sending that in 100%. All right. My second fresh get of the week. Here we go. What do I got? I think Alec is going to appreciate this one. I have a feeling.
All right.
This is Count Draco Knuckle Duster.
I actually just bought that. I ordered it online.
Did you have Phantom Star Killer?
I sold my initial copy, and so Scout Comics was doing a half-off sale, so I picked this one up, and they had a third print of Phantom Star Killer, so I rebought it again.
Oh, I loved how campy and corny and just goofy Phantom Star Killer was. I was like, I'm all in on Count Draco Knuckle Duster. I mean, come on. So I haven't read it yet. It just came in this week, fresh from the comic shop. But I will be reading it as soon as I possibly can. But man, Phantom Star Killer, such a fun read. Absolutely
cool.
So cool, so campy. Just it checks off all those boxes of what I feel like we all grew up with in a way. But yeah, super psyched to have that. All right. Now Chris. All right, I'm not going to get into it just yet. Not just yet. I just want to bring up April X Vision's latest pickup, Daredevil 181. Bullseye takes revenge on Daredevil by going after Elektra. This is the second slab we have in our collection now. Spoiler alert. I'm sorry, guys. She wrote it down. By the way, April is the former winner. So she's not eligible, but her and her husband send in absolute fire. This is the one where Elektra dies. Yes, that is the spoiler. I mean, look at that. She's got the skull right there. She's got, I can't tell what Funko Pop. Oh, it's Daredevil. It's right at the top. But always excellent submissions from these.
Yeah.
And I kind of jumped the gun because right now we're gonna have to talk. It's gonna get awkward for you, Alec. It's really gonna. I apologize for this off the bat. You are a guest, but here we go. Tommy Boy Collections. I am a giant fan of the Incredible Hulk. By the way, all caps giant. No other heroes as giant, all caps again, as the Hulk, and nothing more giant, again all caps, as a Planet 4 Hulk. Scored this True Believers, the Incredible Hulk, CGC 9.4, signed by Greg Pak, reprint of number 92. Oh yeah, Chris, go San Francisco Giants! So yeah, it got really.
Oh my God!
I'm out, Chris. You do not have to explain a thing because we're gonna run a little video right here.
No! Oh no.
Remember, Alec? Remember when I was talking to you about like if you would ever wear a Dallas Cowboys jersey?
Yeah.
How that just just the thought of it just crushes your soul, right? Just the thought of it.
Yeah.
The Dodgers and Giants have a rivalry in MLB. As I'm not sure if all of you know that, but it is. I wouldn't say as strong as Dallas and Eagles, but it's pretty strong. So before, just keep that in mind right here as I play this video right now.
I got to point one thing out too.
Yep.
In the bottom left corner, she's a Giants fan.
She is. Yeah, I noticed that too. They're at a Giants game. Oh, he must have proposed to her at a Giants game. He's got a sign.
Yeah. So what I recall, he's a Dodgers fan. She's a Giants fan, and they went to the game where the Giants were versing the Dodgers.
Oof.
So Chris got that completely wrong. They're both Giants fans, not Dodgers fans. Tommy was just he's a big dude. I think he punched a hole in his concrete wall. And yeah, he was not happy. So that's the reason for the submission right there.
Look, man, look.
Now's the time to publicly apologize. Publicly apologize.
I should hang up my journals, comics, career. I'm done. It's over. Because it's just the worst blasphemy ever as a lifelong Giants fan. But I'm telling you, I was under a state of duress, okay? It's been crazy. Duress, I tell you. It was insanity. I plead insanity.
All right, I don't know. We'll see. Alec, anyways, that was, again, the reference I was giving you is us as Eagles fans wearing a cow. No. So anyways, just had to throw that out there. But we'll move on from this whole fiasco. I hope Chris apologize.
I do. I am so sorry. It's
at this
horrible.
point, that's all he can do.
Yeah, it's if I like I said as a Giants fan, if I was in the other shoes, it's the biggest. You guys ever watch that show? Press Your Luck. No whammy, no whammy, no whammy, and
yeah, you gave them.
This was the biggest whammy ever.
Well, you gave Tommy a whammy in the nuts, like right. It was bad. Anyways, moving on. Speaking of nuts, we got Peter Peanuts. First appearance is Male Call.
Oh, lead-in.
Yeah, you love it. 2 CGC 9.6 Young Bullet 2's first appearance of Shadowhawk, the very first comic book hero my dad got me. Shadowhawk 2 issue number 1 to be exact. So that's sweet and sentimental right there. We can't see the actual picture of it as a 9.6, but we are very glad you have that because that's obviously got some sentimental attachments there. All right, moving on. Comic Demon. New comics won't be till Thursday, but I don't know why he says it. But I forgot to post last week's haul. So here you go, Comic Freaks. We couldn't take all those submissions, but we see that this is the last Ronin number 4. This is the variant. Am I right, Alec?
Yeah. I know it's a variant. For some reason, I think it's an incentive variant, but I don't know for sure.
I like it.
Oh, it's great.
Look at how the sorrow in the turtles fit. The turtles fit. It's just. By the way, I'm only on issue 2. I gotta catch up on this one.
Oh,
too.
You gotta catch up.
Oh my gosh,
that's a good one.
It's really the first 2 outstanding, absolutely outstanding. I really dig it. You know what else I dig? Is Neighbor to the North. I dig his submission right here. I'm still missing Avengers Annual number 10. But have been grabbing the next best books. ROM number 31 is the new addition to my Rogue secondary keys with the first cover appearance and second appearance of Rogue. Marvel Superheroes contains the first appearance that was never printed in X-Men 171. She joins the X-Men. This is a certified, fresh from the comic shop, and rescue from the dollar bin. Good stuff right there. Again, Chris, we may need to add some more criteria if there's knowledge attached to this. We got Mark Lineker dropping knowledge. We got Neighbor to the North dropping knowledge. So really appreciate that as well. That's something that we will consider, and our guest co-hosts will consider as well. All right, next up. You've never met a guy like this, Alec.
All right.
A guy that is just obsessed with Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom covers is the majority of what he collects. His name is Cover Junkie Comics. That's right.
Nice.
Fresh from the comic shop, finally, with Doom War number 5. I lost 3 auctions before I finally got it for a price I found acceptable. Number 5 completes the 6-issue series for me. Apparently, number 5 has some steam behind it because of the first appearance of the Midnight Angels. The story is amazing, and the art is absolute fire. So that's a good submission right there, and we always appreciate Cover Junkie Comics. We appreciate you, Alec. What is your third fresh get of the week? Why don't you share it with us?
All right, so this third one, I picked up an Avengers 8 first appearance of Kang, and I was going to show that off, but it was I picked it up about a week and a half ago, so I wanted to stick to the weekly pick.
Nice. We greatly appreciate that.
So I wanted to stick to that. This was actually my number one pick for my last video. It's Aftershock's new one-shot. It's 10 Years to Death. It's awesome. It's not an oversized book, but it's obviously a massive comic. Mm-hmm. It's based on a true story, so that's what grabbed me in to begin with. And I think the best way to describe it is literally just off the back of the cover. It says a newly hired prison guard, a notorious mass murderer, finally incarcerated for his crimes, and the death that binds them together. It's kind of like a ghost story. It was honestly really good, and it kind of had one of those little shock endings. So definitely pick it up if you can. It was a fun read. Aftershock has awesome stuff, though.
Hey, talking about true stories like Shadow Doctor, outstanding. I absolutely loved it.
That's based on a true story?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes. It's crazy. The doctor for Al Capone who couldn't start his own practice because he was an African American back in the day, and he was tied to the mob, and he feels like he's helping the mob. I don't want to take away from your book, by the way, Alec.
No, I want to hear about this too.
But he took the offer from Capone, and he's helping the mob. He's healing killers to go back out and kill, which goes against being a doctor. So, oh man, it's so good, so good. I can't recommend that enough. So these true story books, outstanding, absolutely outstanding.
Damn, I had no idea that was based on a true story. That's cool.
Yeah, so good, so good. You know what else is good? Caution Comics. That's right, Caution Comics. We're talking about early Amazing Spider-Man period appearances. There's one right here. Look at this. Another Silver Age Amazing Spider-Man to check off the list. The second Prowler, and for less than $20, he gave a yeah boy, which is I guess a reference to Flavor Flav, of PE fame, Public Enemy. So I had to throw that in there as I read it. That's how I interpreted it. All right, next up we got Demented Corey. That's right, Demented Corey got an absolute amazing go dork yourself mystery box. Yeah, there are a lot of close-up pictures here, but listen to this, guys. Mystery box from the Dorkeries. The box included the first full appearance of Madeline Pryor, first Vibe and Gypsy, an early What If, the third appearance of Carnage, some classic Jack Kirby art. I mean, come on. The first appearance of Jane Foster Scotty Young variant, a full set of near mint 1991 Marvel trading cards, and the first appearance of Kang the Conqueror. Wow. That is a crazy haul. I couldn't be happier. Thank you guys so much for the wonderful experience. I look forward to your next volume. That is that's an absolutely insane haul. Congratulations on that, Demented Corey. Tell us more about Go Dork Yourself, because I've never heard of them, but that is I don't do mystery boxes, but that one is just insane. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's a good.
That had to have been the grand prize. That had to have been the grand prize.
What was the grade on that Kang?
What's that?
What was the grade on that Kang?
And I'd have to look that up because obviously we're not going to be able. I think it's a 3.0.
I was gonna say because I can't see it from here.
Yeah, it's very. Yeah, he does have a close up of it. So Demented Corey. You know what? Chris, show us your next fresh get. I'll pull up Demented Corey on the Instagram.
All right, sounds good. All right, so had some Marvel, had some indie. I got to stick with giving DC some love. Keeping a run going. I don't know how many weeks straight it's been. So some more DC, some more Bronze Age goodness. I talked about X11 Bravo brought up in my live show about the founding fathers. Is that a good name for them? Jack Kirby goodness. New Gods number 10.
Oh yeah.
That
is a nice get.
With the Eternals movie coming out, it's just which I'm obviously excited for. I turn to New Gods to celebrate Kirby, and I just get depressed that the New Gods film was freaking
the door was she would have killed it. She would have crushed it.
Yep. So nice looking 20-cent goodness.
That is beautiful. That's
nice.
a great
good pickup
right there. Yeah, absolutely. All All right, so Alec, you had a question of it is a 3.0.
Nice. I think mine's probably a 2 if I got it graded.
Yeah, still amazing. Yeah, that's incredible to have that book, by the way.
Yeah.
Did you get it before all the hype?
No, so that's crazy. So it's an Oklahoma like arts and crafts thing. It's called Market on the Meadows. It happens once a year. My girlfriend wanted to go. You know, I mean, it's like all handmade stuff. And I got there, and we were looking around. Like I said, it's all handmade. You know, they got like homemade, like jellies, pickles, shit like that too.
Right.
And all of a sudden she said, "Hey, there's comic books. You want to go look?" I was like, "Well, yeah, of course I do." First box. Literally, the first box had the Avengers 8 sitting right in the front, and I was like, "There's no way that I mean, it wasn't like $1 or anything. It was around 500. But literally, first box, I saw it, and I'm like, I'm literally in the middle of nowhere, Oklahoma, right now, at an arts and crafts event. All these tents, just straight arts and crafts, and here I am holding a fucking Avengers 8.
That's incredible! Like literally, you walking into that place. If the future you told the past you, oh, by the way, we're going to be picking up an event, you'd be like, shut up! I'm going to go eat a jelly donut probably and throw some like water balloons at someone. Yeah, that's.
I told her I was like, what am I doing right now? Like I'm at an arts and crafts. How am I holding this? Like why is this guy here?
That's crazy! Holy shit!
His wife's on the other side with all of her arts and crafts she's trying to sell, and then here he is. He's got a couple of boxes of books, just trying to pedal them off, and it's like, oh, here I am.
Wow,
I'm not going to find a raw copy of this. So
good stuff. This is Azorius Tiger's reaction. It's a shocked look emoji. Just letting you know. I deciphered that, guys. That is a shocked emoji. All right, excellent, man. When was that though? How long ago was that?
About a week and a half to 2 weeks.
Oh, that reason?
Yeah, so that's why I didn't want to put it on. I was gonna bring it for my like the top 3 books, but it was right outside that week threshold, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna do it.
Oh man, you know what? Everybody would have loved it, by the way, and we wouldn't have held it against you. I probably would have kicked you off, but anyways, moving on. We got Nori Jordan with the last submission of the week. Look at this goodness right here. Yet another week has gone by, and I was able to get some fun stuff in. I figured, why not? I figured, why get 1 copy of something when you have 2? I was able to get 2 copies of Black Widow Marvel Knights #1, Yelena cover, and 2 copies of Hawkeye #1. The Black Widow issues were very hard to find. I also got in a fun Black Widow variant, including a hard-to-find version cover of #11. Now on to next week. Those are some good pickups right there. And by the way, I do like this new Black Widow series. I think it's excellent. I really do think it's excellent. Good stuff, Nori Jordan. Good stuff indeed, guys. It's my last fresh get of the week. But before I do, Alec, you better start calculating your numbers, however you're figuring it out, because we're going to need to pull a winner from this. Am I right, Chris? We're going to need to get our first semifinalist to win. What are they going to win? What is the finalist going to win? The winner of the finals will win
a 9.8.
9.8. Something is killing children. Local comic book shop day. Foil #1. Something is killing children. 9.8 CBCS. That's some good stuff. All right. So I'm going to give you some time, Alec. I'm going to give you some time because
I'm thinking.
My last fresh get of the week. Again, getting books late these days. I used to be able to go walk to the store when I was living in the city, but that's not happening anymore. I'm psyched about this one. It's Monster Kill Squad from Bad Idea. A lot of you guys shit on Bad Idea, but you know what? These are excellent stories, excellent quality, excellent artwork. Yep. I've loved everything that I've read from them. So screw you guys who don't like it. It's your but I do enjoy these.
You got that from Things from Another World?
You got that right. They are so late on their shipments.
So yeah, I still haven't received my Pirate Queen #1.
I got that from them.
I got a copy.
They're having problems, and I'm not sure what it is. They're usually great, but they're having problems. So I just got that. I think, that came out probably 6 weeks ago. So
yep.
Anyways, all right.
Now,
so that
I was gonna say, speaking of Bad Idea. Now, because you guys were talking about, you can't really, I'm gonna be honest. I shit on them because I can't get their books. But I agree. Everything I've read is fantastic from him.
See, that's a fair complaint, 100%. Because I couldn't. My local comic book shop when I lived in the city did not carry Bad Idea. So I'm with you. I had to get it, through.
None of mine do.
Yeah, I had. Yeah, that's that's a problem with them. That's a legitimate complaint. We did have Dinesh on, the CEO. He was talking about all of those complaints, and it was a great interview, Chris. And Chris went I already liked what they were doing. Chris went in kind of open-minded. He didn't really lean either way, but after hearing that interview, I think, Chris, you really appreciated what they were doing.
Absolutely.
So, I'd give them a chance if you guys can get the books, but that's a legitimate complaint, Alec. No doubt about it.
Their books are fantastic. ENIAC was great. Tankers was great. I have the lot 1. I didn't read it, though, only because I knew I wasn't going to be able to get the other ones. And now I haven't been able to get the other ones as well for the other series. So I'm not saying I gave up on them, but I'm not going to go out of my way to hunt these books down. If I find them, I find them. That's
fair. That's fair. Again, that is legitimate. You want to read this, you just don't know how to get them.
Oh, they're real good. Honest to God, there's some pretty damn good books. Matt Kint, phenomenal writer.
And again, they say that they're closing shop, but that's not.
I don't believe it.
Come on, it's not happening. No. All right, but here we are. That ends. I don't know why we weren't running this, Chris. That ends Fresh from the Comic Shop. #. Yes. We're going to get into how you can submit to win that 9.8 CBCS. Something is still in children. Number 1, gold or foil local comic book shop day variant. But before we do, we're going to have to pick a semifinalist. And what do you got? How are you feeling, Alec? What are you feeling here?
There's a lot of books, and honestly, there's a lot of really good ones. I've got a few that really stand out in my mind.
Okay.
And, I might be biased with this because I love remarks. I love blank sketch covers. That stuff really, I really appreciate artwork like that. A great picture. That's awesome too. A nice key book.
Now, before you go any further, we have 2 of those right now. I think we had 2 of those submissions, right?
Those 2 are definitely the ones I'm thinking of. That first Superman one. And I believe, I don't remember the person's name, but I think it was Silver Surfer on the front.
Yep.
So those 2, as far as those are definitely up there for me. But
okay.
But that Notorious B.I.G. Department of Truth cover, absolutely phenomenal. Especially because that's a very exclusive one. What'd you say? Limited to 400 from the King Kong comic shop. So that one's definitely up there too. But the other one. So I guess I'll break it down to 4. The last one that really stood out to me is, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a big DC guy. I'm really not. But I think it was a Batman Annual, the one that had the Scarecrow off to the side.
Yes.
I really like that one too. Those are definitely my top 4. I mean, there's so many other good ones too, though, but those 4 really stood out to me.
Nice. Good 4 picks there.
But guess what, though? He's trying to avoid this, Chris. You got to pick one.
Got to pick one. I'm going to have to. There's no way to see him again. Those 4?
Yeah.
We'll bring
them up. Which one do you want to see?
And we can go through process. You can, what's your top 3? Let's move 1 out. Look at the 3. Okay, what? Let's get down to 2.
All right. If we're gonna go top 3, it's gonna be the 2 remarks, and I'm sorry to the Batman, but the got to do the BIG cover.
Okay, so there's the BIG cover.
East Coast, and it's an East Coast Con exclusive. That's a phenomenal cover.
Yep. Outstanding. All right, I'm going to also bring up...
I want to point something out here, too.
Go for it.
He still has... Because, and this, for those that were around with... I mean, I go way back to cassette tapes. I go way back to I don't know if you guys remember the cassette minis that they tried to release in the late 80s that didn't last. Anyways, he has the CD in the case though.
Yeah.
So he's not fronting. He's got the CD still there.
I had that CD too. That's why it hits with me. I love Notorious B.I.G.
So yeah, it's hitting some hard. It's getting you right there in the feels because it means something to you. Now, before we move any further, before we ask you, you've already cut it down to 3. I'm going to show you the first one, or the first one's the BIG.
Because that's incredible.
Yeah, that is just a great submission. House of L comic, and then we have Carcom US with the Silver Surfer. I believe that's Galactus behind him. That is just gorgeous. That is, I mean, goodness.
All right.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be one, Alec. I'm sorry to do this to you.
It's all good. I got it. So the best picture, as far as like picture itself, I think it's going to be the BIG one. The best remark is going to be that Silver Surfer. If it's Galactus, it's going to be that one. I got to go with the remark. It's going to be the Silver Surfer Galactus for the Fantastic Four.
Carcom US, you are a semi-finalist. Congratulations. Everybody.
That's incredible.
It was a great week. But this one is, I mean, this one stuck out to me as well. Gorgeous. Just gorgeous. So that's a good pick right there, Alec. It was tough. We know. But you did it. You came through.
I'm a big artwork fan. Any sort of original artwork, I will always love it.
Yep, that's what we needed from you. You picked it. You took on your responsibility and made it happen. Now, before we move on from Fresh in the Comic Shop, Chris, let them know how they enter. What do you got?
All right, everyone. Link below. You got to go. Get on your cell phones. Download the Whatnot app with the link below. Set up your account. It's really easy to do so. Once you do, find us on Whatnot at Comic Book Canon. Give us a follow there. From there, you do everything that you need to do on the IG. The IG. The gram, right? Post your pic. Post your picture. Make sure you leave the hashtag FFTCS so we can find it and you get it properly submitted. Also, tag us there at Comic Book Canon. And again, focus on the criteria. You know, a unique book of some sorts. You got a good story behind it or drop of knowledge behind it. A great shot. You know, the camera angles, bring in props and all those different things. And as you guys probably saw tonight, you know, even the 4 final books that Alec picked out, real unique and different. So, guys, we run this every week. We get awesome submissions. Keep sending them in so you guys can have chances to win really awesome slabs like this one that's going out in the mail in the next couple of days.
C to the G.
Yeah, C to the G. Congrats. And of course, the 9.8 CBCS 9.8 foil variant, something that's killing the children, #1. You guys got 3 more weeks to submit to try to win that book.
We have 1 semifinalist. They will go up. Carcom US will go up against next week's winner to move on to the finals, and then we start it all over again the following week. All right, that was Fresh from the Comic Shop. Usually we have, I think y'all know by now, like usually we have Tom Torme giving us a Cosmic Minute. He is so swamped with work. We're hoping to get, I spoke with him or texted with him earlier in the week. Hopefully we'll get some more Cosmic Minutes coming up in future episodes of Comic Book Canon. He is busy with work, family, and his side gig, writing for a pop publication about comic books, but super excited to see some new Cosmic Minutes. I think we all are thirsting for that. But what we do now is another segment y'all know and love. That is right. It is the top 10 hottest comics of the week based off of cover prices data. That's right. We're talking real data, people here. We're not talking about just spec, throwing stuff against the wall. Be like, I think this book is going to be great because of this, this, and this. Oh, that'll be awesome. I feel this. No, it's real, hard data, numbers on sales. Sales, that's right. What we do here, that list comes out on Monday. Our live show is on Fridays. You know, a lot of people just dissect that, all of them. We don't have time for that. We're just a live show. We just get into it. Chris picks his 3 most interesting picks of the week off of that top 10 list. I mean, we just get into it. Alec, we are looking for your, for your knowledge, your wisdom, your kind of what you do on your channel. We're looking for that here. So please participate.
Absolutely.
You are an equal co-host on this show. So here we go, guys. Who's ready for the top 10 hottest comics of the week? I am. All right. At number 10, we have Hawkeye. Number 1, Kate Bishop's first. I believe that's her first solo series. Number 9, we have Super Mario Brothers. Number 1. I do believe this is the first. It is the first Valiant title. So there are some diehard Valiant fans that are just jonesing for all the old school stuff. Number 8, we have Amazing Spider-Man number 361. I think y'all know what that is. Number 7, we have Grendel number 1. Number 6, Kang the Conqueror. Number 2, the first appearance of Ravonna Renslayer as Moon Knight. Quite interesting. At number 5, we have the Immortal Iron Fist. Number 8, the first appearance of Fat Cobra. Number 4, Moon Knight. Number 3, The Rod Reed 1 in 25 variant, and we know this is the first appearance of Hunter's Moon. Debatable, I guess. Number 3, Iron Man. Number 12, the Raza Miles Morales 10th anniversary variant. This is 3 weeks in a row, guys. Number 2, we have Nebula. Number 1, the first Nebula solo series. And then number 1, Moon Knight. Number 3, cover A, first appearance of Hunter's Moon. Very interesting week, Chris and Alec. What do you guys think before we get into Chris's top 3 most interesting picks?
I think that's a reasonable list. For the most part, I definitely understand Carnage. That's straight hype for the movie.
Absolutely.
The one that really throws me off is the Nebula one. I was looking at that. That series really wasn't that good.
You know what? Hold that thought. We'll get into that. All right? We'll get into that in a second. But before we do, Chris, let's just jump into it. What is your first most interesting?
No DC. You know, that's we've been seeing that lately here and there.
That will change, I bet, once we get into DC fandom.
Yeah, we'll see some
I believe that.
At least for a good few weeks then. But
yeah,
really some interesting books on this list that really helped me pick my top 3.
Hey, you know what's fun? I'm going to interrupt you. I like this. Miguel, this is new. Miguel.g.comics, Crystal Chew, Super Mario, Kang, and Nebula. I like this, that people are starting to guess what your 3 picks are going to be. All right, we'll get into that.
I dig it. You know, I never owned a Nintendo growing up. I had the Atari, and my cousin had the Nintendo, so I was always pissed because I had to go over to her house to, get on some Super Mario and some Duck Hunt. Anyways, love me some Mario. I love Atari too.
Agree.
Anyway, guys, I definitely found a theme with the 3 books that I picked. And I'm going to not talk about the theme right away. I'm going to kind of talk a little bit about these books and then kind of correlate it to this theme that I'm seeing. So my 3rd book, Miguel, you're 1 for 1 here. Kang the Conqueror, number 2. First appearance of Ravonna Renslayer as Moon Knight. Very interesting. So this book takes place in the past. I do believe I ordered this book, but I get my books late, because I do the monthly previews orders, and I get them at the end of the month, and then it takes however many days to ship. I haven't started reading this yet, but this is really making it interesting for me to want to pick up this book. It takes place in the past. Keep that in mind. Let's look at these sales. 186% increase in sales throughout the week. $15 for a high Ross, so of course it's getting some spec behind it. It's getting some steam, driving that value up a little bit. Taking place in the past. I'm going to come back to that when we're talking about the theme, okay? But let's move into my number 2 pick real quick.
Whoa.
Oh, go ahead. What's that?
No, go for it. I just was not ready for this.
Okay.
Flow going on. All right, go ahead.
All right. My number 2 pick. Did Miguel guess this one too?
I don't think so. No.
No.
Hold on.
What did Miguel pick?
Super Mario, Kang, and Nebula.
Oh, 2 for 2. My 2 was Nebula number 1. So, all right. First solo series. This is what's interesting about this book, though. And Alec, to kind of to what you're saying, not pertaining to the story, but very interesting in general why this book got hot. Gunn did announce that Nebula will have a huge role in the next Guardians film. Now, I love what I keep forgetting her name. Every time I have to say it on the show, I forget her name. Karen
Gillan.
Yeah. I love her as Nebula. I love what she's done. I wouldn't be mad at a Nebula standalone film. Now, I don't know if that could actually happen, but I'm just kind of, fanboying here, right? So big for James Gunn to say this. I'm down with it. But a few high-profile YouTubers actually talked about this book as one to pick up because of this statement by James Gunn, and the consumers jumped on it, and it really put this book on the top 10. You think, well, she's got her first appearance in Avengers 257, which is still a decently affordable book. That book, obviously, since her introduction in the MCU, it's been climbing some, but still very, very affordable key for her first appearance. But this is how I'm going to tie this in, and it's going to tie into my number 1 book too. Could these, though, play into the story arcs of current titles being adapted into film. And Jeff, we talked about this on the show countless times about with Feige now coming over to the comic book side, being in charge of the comic books as well, and how I've always talked about since the incarnation of the MCU, really once we got the Avengers film, when 2011, 2012 hit, we saw the comic books looking at what the movies were doing and copying it. Once we knew that the MCU was building Infinity Wars, oh, let's do an Infinity War. Like, once we saw this character, oh, the Guardian movie was a success. So let's try to, push this big new Guardians run. I don't think they had I know there was the Annihilation Quest in the 2000s and stuff, and we got the new Guardians team, but there wasn't a lot of hype around it. So I feel like it was kind of follow the leader with what they were doing in the books. Now I feel like it's kind of reversing a bit more to where I think Kevin Feige is saying we need to come up with fresh stuff in the books first, have it take place in the books, and then we can grab those things and pull them into the movies a bit later on. So let's go back to my number 3 pick. Going back to looking at Ravonna as Moon Knight, telling the story of something that happened in the past, kind of adding to her character in the Moon Knight mantle and all these things that they now can set up with the Moon Knight show, with Kang coming in all these things. And then you look at Nebula, and again, I'm still in question too of why this book was even hot. Maybe this doesn't correlate the same way, and it was just some YouTubers kind of hyping this up. But who knows? You give Nebula her own series. She has a bigger role coming up in the new Guardians. Maybe it doesn't stop there. Maybe they try telling a story behind Nebula in this run that they can then, take and put in the MCU somewhere. So this does correlate to my number 1 pick as well. Miguel, you did good, 2 out of 3, but you didn't. You didn't get an ace on these. I did not pick Mario. My number 1 is a Marvel. Moon Knight, number 3. Let me take a sip of this. All right, now we're good to go. So 2 books. You got the 1 in 25 variant on the list. And I do believe somebody showed this off for Fresh from the Comic Shop too. So first appearance of Hunter's Moon. So the story is calling him the other half of Moon Knight. Not really being portrayed as a hero or a villain so far. We're going to most likely going to dive into this character more and figure out exactly what is the dynamic between this character and Moon Knight. This book had a 253% increase in sales throughout the week. $60 high raw, moving a little bit on the market. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention that the Nebula book had over a 311% increase in sales with a $30 raw. So just keep that in mind for kind of like what that book is doing and why, whether it was just people, kind of taking what the YouTubers were saying, going hopping and buying it. But ironically, the Nebula number 1 is selling for twice as much as the Kang number 2 and Moon Knight number 3, 15 and 16 respectively for those 2 books. Very interesting. I personally would probably, if I had to, pay more for either the Kang or the Moon Knight book rather than the Nebula number 1. It doesn't make a lot of sense. This book, again, another one. We got the Moon Knight series coming up. They could be introducing new characters, building on the mythos of Moon Knight, a character that's been around for, almost 40 years now. And they're going into the comic books and getting fresh with creating these stories and creating new characters to tell in the comic books that they can then take to film, whether it be the cinema releases or the Disney Plus releases. And I'll sum it up by saying this. I think it's very smart to do this because we know that the movies and Disney Plus and all that over the last 12, 13 years has brought new viewership to the superhero genre and has brought new readership into comic books.
Yep.
But we know that you have this other large base of comic book collectors and readers that are kind of, put off by that. And I think over the last 10 years or so with what Marvel's done in the comic books, I don't feel like they really felt it was genuine. If we're just take it from the movies, I know for me, growing up in that era, it's really exciting for me to see the stuff that I read play out in the movies. Like, oh, here it is happening. Yeah, it may be different. I'm not one that's a stickler for like, that's not how it happened in the book. It needs to happen exactly. No. But right, we want to see Thanos come. We want to see him get the Infinity Stones and all that. It's so epic, in the origin of Iron Man and things like that. I really feel like right now Marvel has a good opportunity with somebody like Kevin Feige in charge to take the way they've told stories in the MCU, start telling them into the comic books, unite the fan base again, and then once we see them play out in the films, in the shows, the younger readers, or not even younger readers, but newer readers or collectors to the hobby, even though it's not 20, 30, 40, 50 years apart from when the original stories were told, maybe we'll only see them a couple years down the line, we could still go to the movies and be like, yeah, I read that in that book. Now I'm seeing it play out, and there could be that kind of connected love again. So a lot of solid possibilities, I think, here. I'm optimistic on what Marvel may be doing. But again, that's just my hunch. I don't know if there's any fact to it whatsoever.
Alec, your thoughts?
I mean, that's all good stuff, honestly. I agree with all of it. A lot of things that you said too. Just, it's really cool to see how they've like adapted and just, the way comic books are now, the way that the Marvel movies are, they kind of are feeding off of each other, because you kind of have, like you said, there's these two separate groups. You've got the readers, you got the movie watchers. I mean, I guess you kind of, you have a third group, the one that kind of likes both. Some just only watch movies, some only read comics, but they want to bring them all together. So I like that they're, the way I've told some people about with like indie books too. This is just a different example, but we've got the Umbrella Academy. I've read that whole series. I think it's really good. Definitely not bad. But the way that they did the TV show was so much better, in my opinion, than the books. And it's like you knew what was going to happen, but at the same time, they changed it completely to something different so that as a reader, you could appreciate the show. And then if you just wanted to watch the show and then you read the book, you would get something completely different. You can make your opinion from there. So I like that Marvel's kind of doing that same thing where someone, for example, my dad, he's someone that, he's spoiled basically Infinity War. He's like, well, that's not what happens in the movie. There's no way that's not going to happen because, in the movie, they're going to do this. And in the book, that didn't happen. It's like, well, you know what? It's a movie. That's it. It's a movie. You got to appreciate what they're doing with it. Things are different now. So I like that take on it. And I like that they're kind of bringing everyone together.
Yeah, definitely. And the fact that Feige's running stuff, it's been, probably close to 2 years he's in this seat, right? I'm thinking the fruits of his labor we're going to start seeing this synergy between even more closely. And this is interesting. You're bringing this up, this thread here, Chris, right? Because you got the Moon Knight series coming up. This could be one of the first times we see a very recently debuted character in Hunter's Moon. Maybe he comes into the series. Maybe we see appearance of him in the series. You know what I mean?
Honestly, I agree with that.
Right.
That's when we will start seeing how these all work. The books and the MCU kind of working even closer together in the way they're setting things up. And from what you guys are saying, getting all of the fan base kind of more excited about these things. And, that's going to ignite everybody from speculators to casual readers, right?
Yep.
Right there is just going to blow up. So,
right.
I mean, again, this is all speculation on our part.
Yep.
We can't say for sure, right? But it would be interesting to start seeing those things work even more closely together.
I want to say, too, I think this allows them to, and I know everything is kind of like hyper, everything is just under a microscope right now when it comes to speculating, right? And I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm just trying to be blunt and honest that, you know, it is crazy sometimes the littlest things that get specced on, like, you know, the first appearance of so-and-so's left toe, you know, like,
oh my God, I know.
you know, and then it comes out and the book's selling for $50. It is a bit crazy. Sometimes it can be overwhelming, but I think under it all, there's a lot of, you know, purity in why we want to speculate on these things and dive into these things. And I look at this, if Marvel Comic and Marvel Studios plays it right, and you create a character like Hunter's Moon, and you see him like a year later in a TV show when Moon Knight comes out, it can keep kind of back to what I was just saying. Even though we waited like 30 years for to see Infinity Saga on screen, right? It may only be a year for those readers who are like diving into this character, reading the book, and then they see him on screen. Still, that excitement is still going to be there. But what it also does is it validates, or it brings in more intrinsic value to, instead of separating the two values, thinking like, you know, these extrinsic values of why we spec on books is only going to be this peak and drop or something. It's not going to last. If they can bring in new characters and actually have them show up in the films, in the movies, and in the TV shows, and solidify the importance of these characters to the broader audiences, the value of those first appearances of those characters in the books can be more concrete and longer lasting over time as well.
So in addition to a lot of the things you said, because, you know, like, I mean, I just got done saying I totally agree with all of that. And you're talking about these characters coming from a modern comic into a modern TV show or a movie. And that's definitely the route that they should be taking. And now this is just a real hot take. So Miss Marvel's coming, you know, Kamala Khan.
Yep.
Personally, I'm a huge fan of that character. I love those stories. I think she's a great character. I think G. Willow Wilson did a great job telling those stories. But my opinion on that is everything that you just said. So she has this TV show, which is going to be the first time she's ever on anything. All of these characters that are in there that are going to be major first appearances to her specific stories, like she's an Inhuman. Inhumans aren't in the MCU, but they're having her own TV show. And so what does that mean? She's got a first appearance in a TV show of her, whatever characters involve her. I can't remember some of the villains and her closer friends, but those are first. But the Inhumans, I think that's that's literally like the second issue or the first issue is the Terrigen Mist comes out and, you know, it basically changes her. Is that going to happen in the show as well? Or is she just some, I don't know. And even if they decide to take a different route, are they going to call her a mutant? She's obviously not just some, you know, person with superpowers. Right. She's something. So it's going to be a huge introduction, in my opinion, with her TV show.
That's a very good point, and it's debatable right there whether the Inhumans are in the MCU.
That too.
That after that horrible show. I mean, right now, and I don't want to say it. I don't want to water it down, but the cop out could be the multiverse. Yeah, they existed somewhere in the MCU, right? But who knows? Those are really interesting questions on how they, you know, they have ways of creatively changing a character's backstory to fit within the MCU. Yeah. I trust in Feige, man. I think 90%, 95% of the people watching right now that are watching us trust in Feige as well. I have not, you know,
absolutely do.
So I'm not concerned, but I think what you're bringing up is like, how are they going to do this? This is going to be interesting, really interesting to see how this is happening.
To be honest, personally, I don't care what he does. I don't care how he introduces it. I trust him with his movies. I trust him with everything he makes. Name a bad Marvel movie that he's done. He's killed it on all of them. And even if it wasn't that good, it was still a fantastic movie like that a lot of people think. So whatever he wants to do, I don't care what he does. He can do it however he feels.
Well, in my opinion, there's been some stinkers out of the MCU. I'm
pretty easy to please. I'm going to be honest. I'm simple.
The second Thor, the second Iron Man, those are two that stick out to me.
You're right. I actually blocked them out. I forgot they existed.
You know, I came out of Iron Man 2 so disappointed. Yeah. Like what, 11 years ago now? But
Oh
the
my
more I
God,
watch it, the more I'm like, this is a decent.
All right, I'll have to see it again, Chris.
That's
you
the
know
best
what?
way to put it. It's decent.
Yeah, it's decent. And guess what? I went and rewatched the Thor movies for like the 4th time, and I honestly like The Dark World more than I do the first Thor. And I think I've said this on the show before, Jeff. Thor 1 is like, I love the origin story. I love everything on Asgard was great. And of course, the introduction of Tom Hiddleston as Loki. I mean, come on. But as soon as they went to Earth, I felt like I was watching a Lifetime movie. Okay. And let's not talk about.
You've never kind of compared it to that.
And
I don't think
let's
I've ever
not
seen
talk
it.
about Chris Hemsworth.
Oh, his blonde eyebrows. What the hell was that?
Blonde eyebrows, man.
Jesus. Horrible choice. Goodness.
That was early stages of Marvel.
Yeah.
No.
Trip. But anyways,
it all comes down to the fan too. I mean, for example, my girlfriend, the Thor series, that's her favorite series.
Yeah.
She likes it because of it's more of, I guess, kind of a love story.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, I like it for that reason. I'm like, well, I don't. So
excited to see what she thinks about. Like the 4th film is going to be very interesting, right? With Jane Foster coming back, so I have a feeling it's only going to strengthen her love for that series. So, anyways, we live in an amazing time, right? Where like we've been waiting for this our whole lives. Like my daughter will never understand not having this in her life, right? But there were some you had from what I think. God, there were so many. Like from Superman 2, 3, and 4 got awful. Then you had Batman '89, Batman Returns, and then after that, everything was awful. But now we live in a day and age where they've set the bar so high, and they've had so much success.
Yep.
I think it's like, I'm going to use this analogy. Sorry for those that are not sports fans. It's like those who were Boston fans before 2000 understand. Those after expect greatness. Yeah. So I think us, and God, I'm not comparing any of us as Boston fans, but if we are Boston fans pre-2000.
Yeah.
Now we understand what it's like without this. Now we expect, we don't expect this greatness. I think we appreciate it more.
That makes absolute sense. I could say that as well as a Giants fan, because the Giants had never won a World Series as the San Francisco Giants, and then they got 3 in a row, and you're like, oh, here they're the Kevin Feige hits, right? I mean, It's kind of like, he's winning World Series after World Series, and it's like then we get spoiled, But I'm with you, man. And I think really I want to sum up, because I know like a lot of what we talked about with the top 10 and with the books I picked here and talking about the MCU, a lot of what we're saying is our personal opinions and speculations on what they're doing behind the scenes in their thought processes and what they're doing for the future. I'm very hopeful, because let's take Star Wars, for example. We know the Star Wars fan base has been divided, way divided before Rian Johnson came. They were divided when the prequels came out. This divide was like 20 years going. And then you get The Mandalorian, you get Favreau and Filoni doing their work. And over the last few years, it's like, it's really crazy to think that so much of that anger and those pitchforks are silenced and put down, because everyone is just on board with it. Well, the MCU has been such a hit maker for the last 13 years, and you get a lot of the fans that are just on board with it, and then you get a lot of the moviegoers that are just MCU, but there's still this divide between so-called diehard comic readers, collectors, and the movie-going base and so forth. I really think, again, going back to what I talked about with these books, Kevin Feige and team under the Marvel Comics umbrella has the opportunity to continue to patch up a lot of this, especially over the last 10 years, and especially with all the people that are like, that's why I don't read modern comics and stuff like that. I think we're at a pivotal time right now where the Feige genius can really start bridging, building up the bridges and crossing these people over to being a unified fan base again, to where we can really go into simultaneously enjoying these comics and enjoying these movies at the same time.
Synergy, 100%.
Yep.
Right there, we're going to end our top 10 hottest comics of the week. We'll have a brand new list next week, and Chris will pick his 3 most interesting books off that list as well. Okay, here we go, people. Here we go. This is the end of the show. This is where we have to give great thanks. Much thanks to AR Comics for sticking it out. You made it through. Once we kill the live stream, you will be an alumnus of Comic Book Canon. You will get the Comic Book Canon varsity jacket that we promise everybody that we will never probably produce. But if we do, it's coming your way. We really appreciate you being here, though. We really do.
No, thank you, guys. It's an absolute honor. Had a lot of fun tonight. And you guys got a really good show going on with this.
We really appreciate that. But you know what? You have some great content you're producing. And I'm telling you guys, if you're not following it, there's so many compliments to what you do. And again, that's a testament to Chris and I, because we knew that it would be a hit bringing you on the show. So we're very grateful for the people that have appreciated that. But honestly, no, I'm being for real. Like, what you provide to the community, what you create, your content, it meant a lot to me. It still does, but especially early in the pandemic, and I appreciate that.
Thank you so much for the kind words. I really do appreciate it.
100%.
I want to say, too, again, just to reiterate, it's funny. I recently, maybe like a month ago, did a community post on Facebook where I did a poll, asking them, more and more content creators in the comic book hobby are popping up. And again, this is not a slight. I mean, I want anybody, and I'm telling all you guys, if comics are your passion and you want to create a YouTube and you want to come here and be a part of the community and talk about comics in whatever way that you desire, do it. I will support you 100% of the time. If you want to make top 10 videos, if you want to speculate, if you just want to, show off your bargain hauls that you get from your local LCS, I will support you hands down, because all of that builds this community. But I just did a poll, asking there's a lot out there. How can I keep my channel fresh? And what kind of content do you guys keep wanting to see from me? And I got a lot of people saying, I want you to read books and give me reviews. I want to hear what you're reading. And I want to hear, what you're thinking of these titles. And look, I read books. All right. I am constantly reading comic books, guys. Sometimes I get into modes where I will read a lot, and then I'll go like a month, like I was displaced from my home. I didn't read one comic book for like 6 weeks. All right. I get back home. I'm getting back on my Flash series. I'm catching up on my Amazing Spider-Man, which is just killing me.
Wherever you are, just end it right there and call it a day.
Oh my gosh. I'm thinking it's getting somewhere, but then
no.
Anyways,
where are you? Serious question. Where are you in the series?
Issue 70. So I'm right before the Sinister War.
Do you know how it ends?
No.
Someone spoiled it for me. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but I stopped reading at 55 after The Last Remains. I said I'm done. I had my boy spoil it for me. I'm literally mad through everyone who stuck around for it.
Oh man, yeah.
No,
it's like we're being it's like there's this carrot there the whole time, and you're thinking every time you open a door to where you think something's gonna it makes sense now, it leads to another labyrinth of I don't even know what's going on.
I swear I just told my girlfriend this earlier. It's every time he's supposed to wrap something up, it's like, never mind.
Yes!
I don't want to wrap it up anymore. I'm just going to keep it going for 75
I thought I had to check myself into a sanity ward because I thought it was only me.
I sold off all 55 issues for $100, free shipping. I said I'm done.
Wow.
I gave it away.
Oh, man. Well, I was making a point, but, I had to bring up Amazing Spider-Man. Oh, my goodness. Maybe Dan's slot wasn't so bad after all. So my point was this. I'm being asked this, and I read comic books. I just hearing that input, I got a bit of a panic attack. I'm like, I don't know if I could do that. I just don't know if I could do it. And I'm like, go watch AR. Go watch Rock and Robbie. There are those folks out there that really do that well. And I know I was long-winded and we got sidetracked by Nick Spencer's Amazing Spider-Man. But the point I'm trying to make is that you, like I said in the beginning of our interview, you really bring something of unique value that is not watered down, in my humble opinion. You bring the passion there, and you really speak to that broader consumer base. Your videos and your knowledge can give the same tools to, collectors that have been collecting for 40 years next to the collector that just, came out of his first Marvel movie and decided to hop onto YouTube and has never really owned a comic book. So, really appreciate what you bring to this community, man, and appreciate you taking a couple hours to hang out with us tonight.
Absolutely. I had to. You hit me up about it. Our schedule's finally lined up, and I'm really happy I was able to hop on the channel with you guys.
Excellent. Yeah, you all need to follow him on Instagram, but more importantly, his YouTube link is right down below. It's the first link below. Please follow AR Comics. If you like comics, you will like AR Comics and what he delivers. All right. But, we do thank you, Alec, but we also thank you guys, the audience, each and every Friday. You guys make it so fun for Chris and I, and we are truly grateful for that. We are we're approaching our 1K sub contest here, but we need more people to sub up. I guess, we're about like 130 away. So let's get those subs going because we want to give away some really cool stuff from EGS.
Yeah.
I think Kamikaze said he's giving some stuff away. Who else, Chris? There's a bunch of people that are giving a lot of stuff. Oh, Dan De La Torre, a good friend of the show, has some really cool books to be given away for this as well. We're very appreciative of all you people, all you fine people. Again, we will be back again next week, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific. Until then, I want to say go Birds. Terrible loss to Dallas last Monday. Yeah, I'll get. You know what? The floor is yours. That's all I'm going to say on that. Allow you guys to have the closing words, and I'll end the show.
All right. Seriously, I really do appreciate you guys having me on. It means a lot. All the kind words you said. Everyone that tuned in tonight, you've all said nice things. It's cool that you guys hang out, and not just hanging out, but you're like really active and engaging in the conversations that we're all having. Like if you see me like peek off to the side, I'm just watching these comments, just like opinions, just what they're thinking, responses to you. That's awesome that you just, you have this new channel because you both have your own stuff going on too, but you created something so different and unique. You got this nice little live stream going on and everyone's responding so positive to it. And I'm just really happy to be a part of that too. It was a really good experience.
We appreciate that.
Oh, absolutely.
Greatly appreciate that. And we appreciate the comments and the engagement. Chris, what do you got for the last words of the week?
Absolutely. Yeah. Everything that's already been said. And my last words for everyone still hanging out is that bring me up on screen, please. Bring me up.
You got it.
If you don't follow AR Comics on Instagram and go sub him up on his YouTube, I'm going to find you.
Yeah, that's
Thank
for real.
you, Chris.
That is for real. All right. Everybody, be good to yourselves. Be good to everybody else. We will be back again next week. Please, until then, take care. All right. Go Birds.